Just to remind you, a private equity fund is set up as a limited partnership agreement where the investors are the limited partners, commonly referred to as the LPs, and the private equity firm is the general partner, commonly referred to as the GP. The private equity fund, which is operated by the GP, buys companies, which are called portfolio companies, through the private equity fund on behalf of the LPs. Now, a co-investment is where the private equity fund not only allows the LPs to invest in companies through the private equity fund, but also allows the LPs to invest directly into a company alongside the fund. In other words, in a co-investment, an LP will invest both into the company through the fund and into the company directly. Please keep in mind that the rights for an LP to co-invest, also referred to as co-investment rights, are negotiated between the LP and the GP at the beginning of the fund term. And these are rights. In other words, the LP is not obligated to co-invest if the GP offers these rights. Think of them similar to a call option. Now, a big question is, do all LPs get equal rights? Well, to find out, you'll have to watch the rest of this video. In this video, we will talk about benefits of co-investments, drawbacks of co-investments, and then we will give you 4 questions investors should ask at the time of a co-investment. And we'll end this video with a final thought. So let's get started with the benefits of co-investments. Number 1, lower fees. To invest in the fund, the LP pays management fees and performance fees. But in a co-investment, the LP does not have to pay these fees. Or if they do, it'll probably be capped. It may also have to pay a deal origination fee, but that should be fairly small, if it exists at all. There may also be various transaction fees and structuring fees, but overall, there are lower fees on the direct portion in comparison to the fund portion. Number 2, opportunity to build expertise. Some investors, such as family offices, will want to develop direct private equity capabilities over time. In other words, these investors will want to build the expertise to invest directly into private companies. A good way to develop this expertise is to invest in a fund and obtain co-investment rights. That way, for all direct deals that are offered through co-investments, the investor will gain access to the due diligence process of the private equity firm and will gain first-hand experience on the private equity deal process from beginning to end. For family offices looking to build a direct private equity program, investing in funds with co-investment rights is a great first step. Well, a better first step would be to enroll in the Global Private Equity Certificate offered by CFA Society Toronto in collaboration with Mink. To learn more about the certificate, please check out our video titled New Private Equity Certificate, What You Need to Know. And number 3, access to deal flow. Some investors, such as Canadian pensions, already have sophisticated direct private equity teams, but will leverage their relationships with a private equity fund to gain access to deal flow that they can't access on their own. So let's move on to the drawbacks of co-investments. Number 1, lack of equality of information. So, to answer the question we asked before, do all LPs get equal rights? The quick answer is no. Let me explain. Before August 23rd, 2023, GPs would have side letters with individual LPs where the GPs and certain LPs could make separate deals outside of the private equity fund limited partnership agreement without having to disclose many of the details to other LPs. This includes co-investment rights. On August 23rd, 2023, the SEC came out with new private equity regulations to level the playing field. Now, to learn more about these regulations, please check out our video titled Side Effects of Regulations, a Private Equity Perspective. But even with the new regulations, certain LPs will still gain preferential treatment because of their sheer size and their ability to act on direct deals quickly. As a smaller LP in a large fund, this could be a disadvantage when it comes to gaining the same access to bigger deals and also getting access to the same information on deals where other LPs are co-investing. So, unfortunately, all LPs do not get equal rights even after the new regulations. Number 2, conflicts of interest. A GP may be tempted to allocate better deals to large LPs or to LPs that have the potential to invest in the next private equity fund that's going to be offered. It is very difficult to objectively compare multiple co-investment opportunities based on attractiveness. And so, a GP may take advantage of this subjectivity to gain favor with certain LPs. And number 3, timing of cash flows. Since it is hard to predict the timing of investments in a private equity fund in both buying and selling private companies, the timing of a co-investment may not be ideal for the LP and may not align with its timelines. So let's move on to 4 questions investors should ask at the time of a co-investment. Before agreeing to a co-investment with a private equity fund, investors should ask the following 4 questions. Number 1, do I have a say in the timing of the sale of the deal? Number 2, do I have the right to approve or veto board decisions? Or even better, do I have the right to nominate directors of the company? Number 3, what detailed information of the company will I have access to on an ongoing basis? And number 4, what fees will be imposed on me by the fund? And you should already know what fees you will need to cover through the process outside of the fund. The answers to these questions will probably vary for LPs depending on how much money each LP is putting in to the co-investment. Now, here's a final thought. Investors, if you are investing in a private equity fund, it might be a good idea to obtain co-investment rights. It could help you build your expertise in private equity and give you access to private equity deals. With that said, you need to be careful because there are drawbacks with co-investing as well. If you're looking to negotiate co-investment rights, ensure that you have an internal team that can help you vet deals and conduct your own due diligence.